If you've ever walked past an old school building after dark, you know how quiet it can be. But imagine a place where the walls remember every scream, every cry, every secret, and where shadows don't just move, they watch. This is the story of a school so haunted that even adults refuse to enter. A place where students disappeared. Rumors of ghosts whispered in every hallway, and the corridors themselves seemed alive. Before we begin, hit like and subscribe to Unblinking, because you're about to experience a story that will keep your eyes wide open and your heart racing. It started with a dare. A group of teenagers, thrill-seekers, looking for excitement, decided to explore the abandoned St. Holloway School, a place left to rot for decades. The building was massive, towering over the empty playground, windows shattered like broken eyes, doors creaking with every gust of wind. They laughed at first, thinking it would be a fun adventure. But the moment they stepped inside, the air changed. Cold, heavy, and almost sticky, as if the walls themselves exhaled a warning. Shadows shifted along the walls in ways that didn't make sense, and the faint echo of footsteps followed them, though they were alone. The main hallways stretched endlessly. Paint peeled from the walls. Tiles cracked and uneven. Faded graffiti told stories of long-gone students, some of whom had vanished mysteriously. The group's flashlights flickered, as if resisting the darkness. One of them, David, swore he saw a pale figure at the end of the corridor, watching silently. They froze. Then it was gone. A whisper, soft but deliberate, echoed. "Leave before it's too late." The teens laughed nervously, blaming each other, but the fear had begun. As they explored classrooms, each space seemed to warp reality. Desks moved slightly when unobserved. Chalkboards bore messages that hadn't been written before. Whispers grew louder, overlapping, forming words only they could understand. "You shouldn't be here. You belong." One by one, they felt it. The sensation of being watched, eyes pressing from the darkness, hands brushing past shoulders though no one was near. The school seemed alive, hungry, waiting for their fear to grow. In the auditorium, the most terrifying thing appeared. The stage, once a place of performances, now held rows of chairs, filled with shadowy figures, faces obscured by darkness, heads tilted unnaturally, staring directly at the intruders. A faint, cold laughter echoed from nowhere, bouncing off the walls. The air turned icy, breath visible in the dim light. Suddenly, the doors slammed shut. The group tried to escape, but the hallways had shifted. Corridors that had been straight twisted impossibly. Doors opening to walls, staircases leading nowhere. Panic set in, and one by one, they realized the school didn't want them to leave. Emma, the bravest of the group, tried to keep everyone together, but the school had its own rules. Shadows moved faster than eyes could follow. Hallways seemed to stretch endlessly. The whispers became screams, indistinguishable, deafening. Mirrors in the corridors reflected images of students who had disappeared years ago, mouths opening in silent cries. Some of the teens saw figures behind them in the reflections, figures that were in Teen 2 room. The pale woman of the previous stories might have been nothing compared to this. The school itself seemed sentient, and it fed on their fear. Hours, or was it minutes, passed. Time had no meaning. The group split up, trying to find exits, but the building refused. David disappeared first, dragged into a shadowy corner where the walls seemed to reach out and pull him inside. Screams echoed, but they didn't last. Emma and the others ran blindly, hallways looping back on themselves, classrooms repeating endlessly. On the ways they saw names scratched, etched, some fresh of past victims. A cold hand brushed Emma's shoulder, and she turned to see a pale, hair-covered face staring silently, eyes glowing faintly in the dark. The school's gym held its own horrors. The basketball court was empty, but the echoes of footsteps ran counter to their own. The bleachers held figures sitting perfectly still, heads turned unnaturally. A faint melody drifted from nowhere, an old piano tune played by invisible hands. Whispers became voices, voices became screams, screams became silence that pressed down on their minds. Each attempt to run forward only led them deeper into the labyrinthine building. The exit was never in sight, and with every step, the school seemed to change. walls breathing, corridors expanding, darkness thickening. Finally, Emma found the principal's office, a room untouched by time in comparison to the rest of the building. The desk was covered in dust, yet fingerprints appeared in real time. On the walls, photographs of children and teachers stared back, eyes seeming to follow, mouths twisted in expressions of fear or pleading. From the corner, the pale woman appeared again, her presence dominating the room, hair tangled, eyes glowing. A whisper, "You cannot leave. Not until we are satisfied." Emma realized then that the school did not merely haunt it trapped. It fed, and it remembered. Every fear, every scream, every panic-stricken heartbeat became part of its energy. In the hallways, Emma reunited with one friend, barely conscious, both of them shaking, hearts racing. They stumbled toward what looked like an exit, only for the walls to stretch, the ceiling lowering, doors slamming shut. The whispers became words, forming sentences that cut deep into their minds. The school knows your name. It knows your fear. It will never let you go. Desperation overtook them. They could feel themselves being consumed not just by fear, but by the school itself. The shadows pressed closer. The echoes of long-lost students mixed with screams, the building pulsing like a heartbeat. Eventually, Emma and her friend burst into the playground, the night air filling their lungs like a life-giving force. The school loomed silently behind them, dark, alive, its windows like eyes, following their retreat. They didn't look back, knowing some things are better left unseen. But Emma never forgot the whispers, the shadows, the feeling that some force had followed her home. She knew the school was patient, eternal, and that curiosity had a price that could never truly be paid. If you think you could survive a haunted place like St. Holloway School, would you dare to enter? For the full terrifying story, visit my channel Unblinking, hit like, subscribe, and share with friends who love horror. Remember, some buildings never forget, and some ghosts are always waiting.